Good morning and welcome to Dornick. I'm Sam Wright and I'm your instructor this morning. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about our privileged putting green. Probably the only one in Northeast Indiana in any middle school, quite possibly the state of Indiana. And I'd like to offer you a few tips on putting, and so why don't you come along with me. A couple of things I'd like to share before we actually look at putting, and that's stewardship, right? Again, we're very privileged to have this area. It's my pleasure to try to take care of it, but it is a living organism, and it's going to change and fluctuate as far as its quality based on Mother Nature and on the type of time and care that's invested in it. A couple of hundred hours per year is put into this area and this facility, so we need to respect that, please. Typically around a putting green, we don't want any kind of gravel, hard products of any kind drug out onto it. So you might check your shoes when you come and when you go, and check the surface and make sure you haven't brought any gravel or something of the kind out onto the surface. It'll quite possibly ruin our $2,000 mower. So we want to take care of that. Also, usually with a putting surface, we don't run. You don't run on or upon or across a putting surface. You walk. Okay. And lastly, I think as I start to demonstrate some putting tips for you here, we don't take a swing, so to speak. We don't strike at the ball and create divoting on the green. Again, want to respect that surface and try to keep it as nice as you find it. Okay? So with that being said, let's go putt. First thing I'd like to share this morning is just simply the fact that the parts of the club. You have the club head, the shaft, and the grip. Pretty typical. This is very important to us. This is called the sole, S-O-L-E, of the club, right? They come in all shapes and sizes, but one thing they all have in common is a sole. And when we putt, like any given shot in golf, we want our club soled behind the ball, not on its heel, so to speak, or its toe, but on its sole, right? The other thing you'll find is, regardless of what markings you may or may not have for alignment, one thing all putters have is a toe and a heel. And if you consider that like a T-square, you can square up your putter face behind the ball with the line you choose upon which to roll the ball. Okay. One of the other things we do, besides soling the putter behind our ball and squaring it heel and toe in our intended direction, is know where your nose is. Your nose needs to be up over the ball in that putter head where they come together. You don't want to be standing up awkwardly or be way down over here or back here or out here in front. But if you can stand in such a way that your nose is up over the ball and your feet are approximately shoulder width apart, that'll help you square your shoulders in your body and you create more of a pendulum. Okay? If you look at my position right now, as I soled my putter and took my stance, up my arms, across my shoulders, and back down my other arm, you can see this triangle that's created. And if you consider this somewhat of a pendulum, like an old grandfather clock, and yes, I'm an old grandfather, but if you consider this motion, it's much easier to roll the ball. We don't want to hit the ball. We don't want to strike the ball. We simply want to roll the ball. It's very much a tick-tock motion. And if you'll keep the balance of your putter stroke about equidistant, you want to roll the ball, okay? Let me try that, and then we'll review some points. not bad for an old guy. Something you want to keep in mind as well when we're putting is line's important. We want to roll the ball to and toward the hole, of course. The intention is to get it in the cup. But something we also need to work on in our practice is the speed with which we try to roll the ball. Never up, never in is an old adage that's very true. If I am rolling the ball in such a way that it has no chance to get to the cup, it can't get in. But likewise, if I'm so brave or so bold as to strike the ball real hard, that's not going to do me any good either. Okay, so speed is very important. As much so, or possibly more than your line actually. So we want to gauge our putting stroke, the distance, the length rather of our stroke, and the speed with which we move the putter head through the ball. We want to gauge that with the distance we intend to roll the ball. Okay? Not in, but it's a much better leave, so to speak. If I'm going to miss my putt and miss my target, I'd like to leave it very close to the hole. If you can start to roll the ball in a very much a pendulum or tick-tock fashion with your nose up over the ball and concentrate on speed as opposed to striking or hitting the ball, and roll that ball with a particular speed, once you start leaving the ball on or near the hole, more and more balls will go in the cup. I hope this helps you with your putting, and please enjoy Dornick for all it's worth.